Gaffer, good morning. Ahead of Altrincham, comes on the back of the game at Sutton. A lot of talking points from that one.
How long we got?
Before we get into the major talking point, I just want to reflect on the first 35, 40 minutes. And I want to get your view, because from the stands, we looked incredible.
My interviews go on a while. This could be a world record today. So I apologise right now to everybody listening to this. Give yourself about 2 hours. We were magnificent. 4-4-2, we were dynamic, we were controlled, we had great partnerships all over the park. The willingness to score goals. We were brilliant, honestly, absolutely brilliant. Got the goal from Kyle, penalty, deservedly so. Gilly could have scored, Ricardo could have scored, we were a threat, and we were magnificent. And for those 40 minutes, the 4-4-2 really seemed to work. And I was sitting in the dugout thinking, do you know what, this is a day where we're going to get the 4 or 5. I really, really did. But inevitably, it all changed on the sending off of Ricardo wrongly.
Before we get to that, the penalty, were you surprised that there wasn't any card for the Sutton defender?
Yeah, it's, we'll go on to the decisions in a bit, but it's a yellow card. It's not a red. Because it was a clear intent to play the ball, but it's a reckless challenge. Yeah. It's a reckless challenge, regardless of anything else. Anybody watches the footage, it's a yellow card, no doubt about it. I can't understand why it wasn't given. But again, things happen. Ricardo got up, Kyle took the penalty, and it was a great penalty.
Okay, so that segues nicely on. There's a few talking points that happened over the next sort of 10 minutes or so. I guess if we break it down, the first 2 challenges, the Sutton player's name escapes me, and then obviously Ricardo's retaliation. How from the dugout, how did you see that?
Well, first and foremost, I've been having conversations with Howard Webb and Mike Jones from the PGMOL. I respect them hugely. Both ref me, and I've got a great respect for them, as I think they have me. So in these situations, I like to do my research, look at the footage, gather the information, then have conversations with people in positions where they can help me and educate me, which Howard and Mike done over the last 24 hours. So after reviewing the footage, it's a clear red card, serious foul play.
From the Sutton player? From
the Sutton player. There's no doubt about it. I think that is the conclusion that we've all come to. And in that situation, the referee should stop the game and issue a red card. Then, by allowing play to go on, that then allowed Ricardo to get up and retaliate, which that also should have been a red card. But if the referee, in my opinion, issues the red for serious foul play, that doesn't lead to Ricardo's challenge, the mass confrontation which followed. So again, I think that was an error by the referee. I know it's a hard job. But you can see the body shape of the player, you can see everything, the height of the challenge, you can see it. So again, I think that was a huge error.
Yeah.
But again, it's a difficult job being an official, and I never go on social media and berate officials, because I know how hard the job is and that they need educating. And I know Howard and Mike and the PGMOL are working exceptionally hard to put courses on. I believe there's a mandatory course in the summer to educate officials and fourth officials, because help is needed. Because what I'm seeing right now at all levels of the game is the way the law is implemented in games, especially at the lower levels, is unacceptable. They have to get these decisions, the easy ones, right. And I've got a question at times: Do officials actually know to the exact detail how to implement the law at certain times?
Okay, so we think the Sutton player should have been sent off. You've also just said, and I admire you saying it, that you think Ricardo probably should have seen red for the retaliation.
Yeah, it's a red card, yeah.
Do you think that because he didn't give a red, that impacted his secondary decision then with the handball?
No, I don't think it does. I think subconsciously, no. I think the referees will judge every moment on that moment.
Okay.
I really do. So again, I don't think the referees then running around thinking, well, I should have sent Ricardo off, therefore it's a handball. No, I don't. I really don't. I think it was a decision for the handball, which, again, in conversation with people in very high places, the most experienced referees there's been, some of the best, that everybody I've spoke to believes that the law in that situation was implemented incorrectly. So it was not a deliberate act from
and therefore shouldn't
Ricardo.
have got a yellow card.
So therefore, I think the referee was, if he believes his handball, was correct to rule the goal out. There's no question about it, because handball leading to a goal, immediately goal ruled out. But it's not a deliberate handball. It's quite simple and plain. And when you implement the law, it's unintentional. It comes off his chest onto his arm. It's not a second yellow card. And now, because the law has been implemented incorrectly, not only did we lose Ricardo for the second half and 10 minutes into the first, where we were looking so good, we've now lost Ricardo for Wednesday. So again, when you can appeal straight reds, and this is for everybody, by the way, this is for every manager, every level, and the FA and the PGMOL, whoever needs to, think about this. So now, as a football club, we suffered because of an incorrect decision, like other clubs do, up and down the country every single week. Some clubs will get apologies, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because in that instance, when we were playing exceptionally well, we've lost our goal scorer, and now we lose our goal scorer for Wednesday. So surely now there should be a law change that if you get a red, whether it's a straight red or red from 2 yellows, it should be looked at. It should be looked at, because we're missing one of our best players for no fault of his own, because a law has been implemented incorrectly. So surely now there should be, in the summer, there should be a review for every single club to say, if it's 2 yellows, which equals a red, the second yellow should be looked at. And if it's deemed to be incorrect, the red card should be rescinded, and it should be just 1 yellow card on the player's history going forward for that season, because it's wrong. It's just wrong.
There will have been there were a lot of people on social media going, this is Robbie Savage just moaning, he hasn't got his own way, he's throwing his toys out the pram. But actually, there was a real influx of fans who were at the game and saw it on social media and agreed with you. But also, Chris Agata, I don't know if you saw his interview afterwards, but I watched it expecting him to, praise his players, and which he did. Man, he came out in support of you and the poor refereeing.
Chris is a fantastic, humble, fantastic manager. Brilliant the way he spoke about us before the game and after, and the way we were together on the touchline. We were just both bemused by a performance, not just of the 3 officials, but the 4th official also. Again, as myself and as Forest Green, we are at this level such a high-profile club. And we're going into games thinking we've got to be at our best. If we can, we need 11 players. If we can be at our best, we can beat anybody. And we were at our best for 40 minutes. Unfortunately, with 10, it wasn't to be after that, conceding so late. But this is not me ranting. This is me speaking out for every manager and every club at our levels. Because
But Chris Agata said the same thing.
Yeah.
He said that he'd had that guy, I think it was the second time he'd been at the Sutton ground, and he said the first time was just as bad.
But I can't comment on that. I wasn't there.
No.
I can only comment on the performance Saturday. And obviously these officials need help and they need education. And they know that, all officials going into a game should know how to implement the law. And if the law is implemented incorrectly, then what are the consequences? So again, I see managers all the time after games. I've been sent posts from other managers from all levels, because of, on 606. I don't know how. It's got to change. It's got to change. For Forest Green, for every single club. And I know officials do not intend to make mistakes. I'm going to make more mistakes than officials.
Yeah.
But if I keep making mistakes on a regular basis, inevitably I will lose my job.
Yeah.
So again, that's why I think education help is needed. And once again, the worry for me is, as I've said numerous times, the implementation of the law, like at Luton in the FA Cup. So in the first half, when the keeper kicked the ball and Gilly got onto the ball because the defender made a controlled effort to play the ball, it come off his head. And again, that was a conversation with Howard, and I'm led to believe Howard showed it to a number of people, and it was split. Was it a control play of the ball or was it not? So again, the referee on the night, which really made me irate, at half-time said it was a deflection. Again, the terminology was incorrect by officials because that's been changed a couple of years ago to, did the player make a controlled effort to play the ball, an uncontrolled or a controlled? So I know that law, but I was being told on the night it was deflection. Well, there's no such thing. So the terminology should have been to me, I thought the defender made a controlled action of the ball. Therefore, an uncontrolled action.
Yeah.
An uncontrolled action. Therefore, your player is in an offside position. If it would have been a controlled action, so a deliberate action to play the ball, i.e., it would have meant Gilly was onside. But the terminology to me was a deflection. Well, as a manager, you're thinking, a deflection from 50 yards? Impossible. So again, this is the education these officials need.
I mean, you've spoken to Howard and Michael. Are they getting this There's been a lot of rule changes over recent years. As a fan, we find it hard because we're like, we don't understand. Do you think, or do you know what the referees are being taught when each rule change comes in? Do you know the process?
No, I don't know the process, but obviously, I'll be having more conversations with Howard and Mike because I want to be educated because I like to gather all information. So when I'm standing in that technical area and a decision's made, I want to believe I know the law.
Yeah.
And I want to know if that law's been implemented correctly. So again, I know Howard, and I know Howard Howard's a brilliant guy who when I'm watching Premier League, and I'm sure Howard's sitting home watching it, and I bet you at times he can't believe what he's seeing. And I know Howard, wants to be the best he can be, and he's probably the same as us, watching the game thinking, how was that taking 5.5 minutes? Of course, he's the best at his profession and was, and now hopefully with his knowledge and the people around him that we can educate referees and officials better, because I'm not going to rant and rave and come out and, I try and be balanced and fair.
It's a tough job, right?
100%. Yeah. And again, I was balanced after the game, and again, we can go and we can talk about at 2:00 when we have to hand the team sheets in. You stand there as a manager and the two captains, listen to the referee speak. It's pointless. It's becoming pointless because the words used aren't implemented in the game or after the game. So it's pointless. For now, I just stand there and just listen. No point speaking because I hear it every single week about X, Y, and Z. But when I actually see the performances from most and fourth officials, what they say before the game at 2:00, it goes out the window. Yeah. So they're not implementing things they're saying, which is really, really frustrating, as I'm getting frustrated now. But this is about the bigger picture for every single club, not just Forest Green. And we were lucky against Halifax. They should have had a penalty in the last minute when Harry threw the player to the floor, or it should have been a goal. So if Adam, Halifax, was frustrated, rightly so. And if I had him, I'd have been the same. So this goes for Halifax, who should have had a penalty, or the goal should have stood in the last minute to have a 2-2. So again, this is not just about us, it's about the standard of officiating at every single level from the Premier League down. Okay,
we're going to move on to Altrincham now, unless there's anything else you want to say to close that off.
No, but again, it's that's how it is. And this, will this achieve anything? Let me just make it clear.
You've been in football a long time, right? And this isn't a new thing, right? I mean, we've seen refereeing decisions over the years impact games. I put it to you, is it just part and parcel of football?
Yeah, it is. Listen, they don't intend to make mistakes. As I say, everybody makes mistakes. I'm not blaming the referee for my players missing 3 glorious chances. Yeah. That's not the referee's fault. We could have won the game if we had 11 on the pitch, but we still should have won it with 10 because my players missed chances. And inevitably, if my players keep missing chances like we are, and we keep not winning games, because for us, we've drawn 9 games this season. Every one bar one feels like a loss. And that's the difference. So last year there was lots of draws, but maybe draws were good. But the way we play and the way we are, when we draw a game, except for Scunthorpe at home when we got the last minute equaliser, every game feels like a defeat. Honestly, we're so low in the dressing room because we're trying everything we can to win it. So again, it's a difficult job. Education is needed, and Howard and Mike will do everything they can, I believe, to increase the education of every single official.
Okay. So Wednesday's coming around quickly. We've got Altrincham at home. I guess in reflection of what happened on Saturday, you've seen it good that it's come around quick, that we can kind of make amends and get people back on track?
Yeah, obviously missing Ricardo. The 4-4-2 worked. Will I stick with that formation, or what will I change slightly? It's a game where, they've got a new manager. I think Neil's doing really well. Lost narrowly to a late goal at Hartlepool at the weekend. We had a real tough game up there. Ryan Ince with a great header and Nick with a great free kick. We know it's going to be a tough game. Every game's tough when you pull on the Forest Green shirt. So we'll be looking forward to it. We'll be ready, and we'll be looking to play our football once again with our pace and our power and our athleticism. And I know at home and away, if we're on it, we can beat anybody.
And you said the mood of the players at something was a bit down. Will they want to get back at this? Are they like coiled springs ready to go? Yeah,
they are. They're such a great group, and the way we defended that in that 4-4-1, we were magnificent. And they got the goal. Sutton, it's the guy has a great leap, and then lands on the floor. And where does the ball land? Straight at his feet, and he puts it in. Credit to him. Yeah. Did they deserve a draw? You can argue that they kept going and they got it, and we were really deep. But I was so proud of the performances from everyone. I thought Chibi was outstanding. I thought Mendy at the back and Kanu's partnership was great. There's an argument: do I move Mendy to midfield? I know that, and I'm always contemplating that. Kyle's work ethic was brilliant, but again, there was big moments. Those big moments right now, other teams at the top end seem to be taking them. We're not, and that's what needs to be better. If we can take one of our big moments, we win that game at the weekend. Temi has to score. Nosey's got to cut it back to Cairo. We've had a 4v2 when Cairo shoots from the halfway line. We had 3 shots from inside our half against Sutton, which is, ridiculous. So again, we need to be better in those moments. We're working on it. But that performance should give us massive confidence going into the game against Altrincham, and it's 1 win in 4, I think, in the league.
They haven't won since November. Although 2 of those were against York and Rochdale.
But they can win. Listen, Neil's a very, very good manager, and I'm sure he'll have his team set up well. And as I say, Trudeau come to us and drew. Bratley beat us. Braintree drew with us. Wheelston drew with us.
They'll fancy their chances, right?
Of course they will. Yeah. Of course they will. At this league, anybody can beat anybody. And if we're not at it and we're not on it, then it'll be a tough night. But I can never say that against my team. We're always at it. Bratley, probably not. The only time this season where I could say we weren't at it. Every other game will suggest that we'll be up for it, be ready. We've got a great group, and I'm proud of them, and I'm proud to lead this team because they're great people, they're great individuals, they're a great collective, and they want to get better. And we're in a great position. Can we win the league? Subconsciously, yes. Will we? Probably not. But the playoffs, I think we've got a real chance of getting in. And if we do, nobody will want to play us.
You've said a few times about your 4-year plan and what have you. Like, in real terms, where did you see the end of this season being?
I didn't think we'd be as good as we are just yet.
Yeah.
22 new players, first loans, young players, players coming from lower. For them to be as relentless as they have, it's a testament to them. And we've given them the opportunity to a platform to be the best they can be with the freedom. And I hear your interviews, you and Harry, all the time with our players, and how much they enjoy training. It's just such a great environment, a great culture. The lights have gone off, so I've gone on for that long. The lights are trying to tell me something. I told you it was going to be a long interview. But you can see my enthusiasm, my emotion, because I want to get better. I want to make people better. We're going to make mistakes together. We're going to lose and win together. And right now, as I say, I get so high when we win and so low when we draw or lose, because that's me. But again, you can see already, I'm trying to educate myself every single day, not just in terms of tactics, analysts, and analysis, coaching, looking at how can I see a game through a referee's eyes. That's what I'm trying to do, to gather all my information, so I am the best person I can be, and that's what my players are trying to do as well. And if we can do it together, it'll be a good end to the season.